Pokemon Sun and Moon are widely regarded as some of the longest Pokemon games out there, and because I absolutely hate my free time, I decided I wanted to attempt a shiny only run of these games. Shiny Pokemon only appear in 1 in every 4,096 encounters. This means the majority of my time in this run is definitely going to be spent shiny hunting. On top of this, to make the run even more difficult, I'm going to be using the hardcore Nuzlocke rules that you'll see on screen now. With all that being said though, I'm ready to start this run, so I name myself Zango and I get ready for my journey in the Alola region. First things first, I figure out Kukui's kind of a weirdo. He keeps saying that I'm styling. I don't really know why. I look like an absolute loser in this outfit. Either way, after this, I'm ready to get started with my first shiny hunt. Not gonna lie to you guys, this was pretty painful. I've got to save all the way at the top of this mountain, and I still have to go through a ton of cutscenes just before I can even pick the starter. Eventually though, after a couple of hours, I actually end up getting pretty lucky and finding myself a shiny Litten. I name him Ranch, and I then find out he's got a jolly nature, which is probably one of the best he could have had. After I watch Kukui nail this poor Pikapec with a Pokeball, I start to realize that I am really scared of losing this run. Every single hit I take is absolutely dreadful, and because of this, I decide I want to start my next shiny hunt right away. 10 hours after making the decision to shiny hunt, I finally find myself a shiny Pikapec. This isn't really exactly what I was looking for, but Toucan and shiny is actually pretty cool, so I'm not really that upset by it. Either way, I name Pikapec Mayo, and I find out the nature is neutral, so it's actually pretty solid. Up until this point, it had taken me about a week to get this far in the run, and if that's not worthy of a sub, I don't know what is, because only 3.8% of my viewers are actually subscribed, so if you could please subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, after that shiny hunt, I move on to the next big city, and Lily asks me if I shop for my own clothing, and yeah, of course I do. After I talk to her, I challenge Captain Lima. This battle tends to actually be pretty difficult, especially this early in the game, but I end up getting through it just fine with the combination of Ranch and Mayo together. After Smeargle goes down, I'm ready to challenge my first trial. This battle becomes relatively easy when my Pikapec evolves into Trumbeak and I can learn Brick Break. I absolutely mollywop Totem Gumshoes with Brick Break, and the battle doesn't even end up being close. With that finished up, I go meet Lily, who's a horrible Pokemon trainer, because I have to go find her Cosmog for her, and honestly, if you lose Cosmog so much, just put it on a leash. It really isn't that big of a deal. After that, I end up having to fight the Grand Trial. Hollow leads the battle with Mankey as I lead with Mayo. Right away, I set up a workup so that on the next turn, I can one-shot Mankey with a Peck. This plan does work, but I end up taking some big damage from Karate Chop in the process. At this point, Makahita comes in next, and he hits me with a Fake Out on the turn in, and on the next turn, I set up a workup as I get hit for an Arm Thrust 3 times. On the next turn, Makahita goes down to a single Pluck, and after that, Crabrawler is sent out last. Because I set up 2 workups earlier in the battle, I'm able to one-shot Crabrawler, and that wins me my first Grand Trial. With that trial down, I get my first Ride Pager, and I then head to Akala Island. Once on Akala, my Litten evolves into a Torracat, and then I'm ready to have my first real rival battle. I say first real rival battle because this is usually the one that gets hard, but this one wasn't difficult whatsoever. I actually stomp him. After this, I go fight Gladion. Now, if you want to talk about a difficult battle, this was absolutely it. Gladion brings me down to 3 HP, and I end up having to finish off the battle with Mayo. Once that's out of the way, I end up starting my battle with Totem Wishiwashi. Right away, I lead with Mayo and set up a workup as Wishiwashi goes for a Water Gun, bringing me down to 36 HP. Wishiwashi calls down for help, and I end up finishing off the Wishiwashi he called down for help, and he hits me with another Water Gun, bringing me down pretty low. At this point, at 11 HP, I go for a Roost as I get hit with another Water Gun, bringing me down to 14 HP. I've then got to spam Roost until my health gets high enough to where I can hit him and finally do some damage. When I finally hit Totem Wishiwashi, I do about half, and I steal the Citrus Berry off of him. After eating it, my health goes up even more, and I end up getting hit with a Soak, which doesn't do really anything to me, so I'm able to finish off Wishiwashi on the next turn with another Pluck. This means all that's left is the Pokemon he called down for help, and with that, I'm just able to defeat him easily, and that wins me my second trial. After I've got that down, there's pretty much nothing standing between me and the next trial. All there is this dumb little Battle Royale thing that I'm pretty sure nobody cares about, and after I complete that, I move on to the third trial. Against Totem Solazzle, I lead with Mayo, and right away I go for a Pluck, doing almost half as Totem Solazzle hits me with a Toxic. Because I'm almost positive I got a low damage roll against Solazzle, I decide I gotta get lucky here, and I go for another Pluck, finishing off Solazzle with a critical hit. To be honest with you, I'm pretty sure I would have killed there either way, as long as I didn't get a low damage roll. Either way, it doesn't really matter, as Salandit hits me with a Venoshock on that turn, and it does a lot of damage. At this point, I know I can't stay in it anymore, so I decide to switch into Ranch, and I end up finishing off Salandit with a couple of moves, as that wins me my third trial. With that, again, there's pretty much nothing standing between me and the next trial. As I'm heading to the next trial site, I move through Colress, and he gives me one of the most important TMs of this run, Flame Charge. After I start the next trial, it ends up being one of the easiest yet, as I absolutely dominate Totem Lurantis. I have a flying type and fire type, so it's actually not that big of a deal at all, and once Lurantis goes down, I'm then ready to challenge the grand trial of its island. With my current team, I'm not actually sure I'll be able to beat Olivia though. I have a flying and a fire type, which means I'm gonna be weak to everything she throws at me. With that being said, because I can't win the battle with my current team, I've got to catch my next shiny. For the Pokemon I'm looking to have on my team, I've actually got a pretty good idea on what I really want. My goal is to go back to Melee Sea and catch myself a Mareanie. The only way to catch Mareanie is through an SOS encounter, and it actually doesn't take that long considering Mareanie is pretty common and SOS encounters make it more likely you find a shiny. After about 7 hours, I find and catch my Mareanie that I name Ketchup. I wasn't even paying attention, and I just saw that I got it. I wasn't even paying attention. I was literally looking at my phone. I looked up because I was about to kill what spawned in because I saw it call for help, and I didn't know it was gonna be a shiny. Oh my god, bro, that's so amazing. This catch allows me to start my grand trial with Olivia. She leads the battle with Nose Pass as I lead with Ketchup. Right away, I go for a Scald that does about half, and I end up burning. Olivia then hits me with a Thunder Wave, but I end up peeling it off with a Cherry Berry, and on the next turn, I finish off Nose Pass with another Scald. Next out is Bulldozer, so I go for a Scald that almost one-shots, as Bulldozer goes for a headbutt, really not doing that much damage. Olivia then heals, but not enough, as I go for another Scald, finishing off Bulldozer. This means Olivia's got to send out her final Pokemon Lycanroc, and right away I go for a Protect, hoping the Z-move's going to come out, but it doesn't, as he goes for a Rock Throw. Lycanroc goes for a Rock Throw that brings me down to 33 HP, as I go for a Scald, bringing Lycanroc down to about a third and burning. At this point, I am extremely horrified of a Z-move coming out, so I go for another Protect, but Lycanroc doesn't go for it again, going for a Rock Throw. At this point, I don't really know what to do, so I decide to go for a Scald, as thankfully, he does not go for a Z-move, going for a Rock Throw, allowing me to finish him off, winning me my second Grand Trial. Now that I've finished up that Grand Trial, I'm ready to go to the Aether Paradise. While I'm in the Aether Paradise, my Trumbeak evolves into Toucannon, and I then have to battle an Ultra Beast. I say battle, but I'm actually pretty scared of battling in these games, so I decide to just run away, and after this, I make my way to the next island. Once I get here, I'm challenged to a rival battle pretty much immediately, but since I have a Toucannon now, the battle really goes smoothly. I've then got to do a decent bit of story in which I go to the library and find out I am completely illiterate. Once I leave that place out of pure frustration, I move on to the next trial. This trial is against Totem Vikavolt, and for this, I decide to lead with Branch. Immediately into the battle, I set up with Workup as Vikavolt sets up with Charge. Because Charge powers up electric type moves, I decide to go for a Protect on the next turn just so I can't get hit by it, and on the following turn, I go for a Flame Charge on Vikavolt. It does a pretty good amount of damage, and on that same turn, Vikavolt uses a Charge, and Charjabug hits me with a Thunder Wave, paralyzing me. Because Flame Charge raises my speed, I'm not actually slower than Vikavolt when I get paralyzed, so on the next turn, I'm able to freely go for another Flame Charge, finishing off Vikavolt. At this point, there's only Charjabug left, so I take him out with a single Flame Charge, and immediately after the battle, Ranch evolves into Incineroar. Now that I've got the 5th trial down, I've got to fight Guzma. This battle is usually pretty difficult, especially since the first impression, but it really doesn't matter for me, especially since I have Toucannon. The thing is though, after that Guzma fight, I start thinking about Totem Mimikyu, and I'm actually really scared of that battle. With that being said, I'm looking for a new team member, so I decide to start my next shiny hunt. For this shiny hunt, I'm looking for a Beldum, and you may think this is a dumb idea because the catch rate is so low on these things, and you would be completely correct. This is probably one of the dumbest ideas I've ever had, as I go into this battle with only Pokeballs. To be honest with you, I have no idea what was wrong with me, as eventually I do find myself a shiny Beldum, but it kills itself before I can catch it. I mean, you truly hate to see it. Just watching a shiny kill itself right in front of you when you can't do anything about it is probably one of the worst feelings I've ever had. That being said, I decide to go into the battle again, and eventually, after another 8 or so hours, I find myself another shiny Beldum. Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy crap, oh my god, I got it. Finally, I got it again. Oh my god, shut up, Markiplier. Oh my god, I got it. Oh god, I got it again. I got it again, I'm so happy. Oh my god, I got it again. This time, I have enough Ultra Balls, so I eventually catch him and I name him Alfredo. Once Alfredo's on the team, I immediately evolve him into Metang, and I then get ready to challenge Totem Mimikyu. I lead the battle against Mimikyu with Alfredo, and right away I go for a Bullet Punch just to break the disguise as Mimikyu hits me with a Shadow Claw, bringing me down to 5 HP. I guess I did my damage calculations just a little bit wrong, as I only expected to take half there. Either way, after this, I've got to switch out right away. I decide to switch into Ranch, who gets hit for not very effective damage, and I then go for a Darkest Lariat on Haunter, finishing him off with a one-shot. On the next turn, Mimikyu goes for a Poliwrath, doing a ton of damage to me, bringing me down to 46 HP as I go for a Darkest Lariat, bringing Mimikyu down to about a third. At this point, I'm too low to stay in anymore, so I decide to switch into Ketchup, who gets hit for some damage on the switch in, but it's really not that much, so on the next turn, I decide to go for a Protect just to regain a little bit of HP. When I used Protect, I saw that both Gengar and Mimikyu decided to go for Ghost type moves, so I decided to switch into Mayo, who can't get hit by either of those. Once Mayo's in, I'm able to go for a Beak Blast on Gengar, and once I take him out, I'm then focused on Mimikyu, and I take Mimikyu out with another Beak Blast. After my 6th trial, I gotta go visit this guy on the beach, and he asks me heads or tails, and you know, of course I gotta pick neither. Apparently that was the right answer though, and he gives me a Sharpedo, who's an absolute monster in the water. I mean, could you imagine this thing flying at you? After I do that with him, I've then got to go battle Guzma, and that battle actually ends up going really easily, so easy in fact that I'm not even going to go over it. The battle was actually a pretty big help to my team, as after the battle my Marini evolves into Toxapex. Once I do that, I've then got to find Lily because she can't seem to stay put, but before I end up finding her, I challenge the 3rd Grand Trial. Nano leads the battle with Sableye as I lead with Ketchup. Right away, I go for a Baneful Bunker so Sableye can get poisoned, and on the next turn I go for a Poison Jab after getting hit with a Shadow Ball for some pretty big damage. I then go for another Baneful Bunker just to regain a little bit of HP with leftovers, and after that I finish off Sableye with a Poison Jab. When Krookrock comes out, I decide to switch into Mayo so I can't take any damage from Earthquake, and when I do, I actually get hit with a Swagger, confusing me and raising my attack +2. Krookrock then hits me with a critical hit crunch, doing a ton of damage, and thankfully I get through the confusion and finish off Krookrock with a one-shot. Persian gets sent in last, and I send in Ranch hoping I'm not going to get hit by a Power Gem, but of course I do, and it brings me pretty low, so I've got to switch right away. I switch into Toxapex, who eventually gets hit by a Z move, but thankfully I protected most of the damage, and it only brings me down to 43 HP. The rest of this battle is me just spamming Recover and Poison Jab. Eventually Persian goes down, and that wins me my 3rd Grand Trial. With that 3rd Grand Trial down, I'm ready to make my way to the Aether Paradise and finally find Lily. To do this, I've got to fight Guzma, and this battle actually goes really easily. After the battle, I head to fight Lucamine. Lucamine goes down rather easily. I just stay in with Toxapex the entire time, and when I need to, I go for Baneful Bunker. At this point, Toxapex also has Recover, so I just spam that when I get a little bit low, and after that, Lucamine's defeated, and I end up finding Lily, and she's got a whole new look. Not saying that's a good thing though, she looks as dumb as a box of rocks. Either way, after that, I end up going to Pony Island. Once here, I've got a lot of story I need to do, and I end up getting through it relatively quickly. After the story, Alfredo evolves into a Metagross, and I'm about to challenge the 4th Grand Trial. Before doing that though, I kinda want some new faces on the team, so I decide to go back to a previous route and catch myself a shiny Grubbin. After catching Grubbin, I name him Soy, and I then move on to catch my next shiny. For my next shiny, I'm gonna spend hours upon hours in SOS battles in order to get myself a shiny Palisand. This by far was my longest shiny hunt, but I feel like it was the most worth it as Palisand has one of the sickest shinies in the game. Once I get him, I name him Jam, and I fully evolve my team and get ready for the 4th Grand Trial. I lead the battle with Jam as Hapu leads with Dugtrio. Right away, Dugtrio hits me with an Earthquake, but it doesn't do that much damage, so I'm able to go for an Earth Power in one shot. Next out comes Gastrodon, and for this, I decide to switch into Mayo, who gets hit on the switch in, but really not for that much damage, so I'm able to go for a Bullet Seed in the next turn, finishing off Gastrodon. With that, Flygon sent in, so I decide to stick in with Mayo and go for another Bullet Seed. Flygon hits me with a Dragon's Breath and paralyzes me as I get the Bullet Seed off 5 times, bringing Flygon down to about a third. At this point, I've 100% got to switch, so I decide to move into Soy. Soy gets hit twice before doing any sort of damage, but the damage I am able to do is able to finish off Flygon. Hapu sends in Mudstale last, and for this, I decide to stay in with Soy for a little bit, but as soon as I realize I'm doing basically no damage, I switch into Jam. I go for a Giga Drain, and then I get hit by a Z move. That Z move brings me pretty low, down to 21 HP, but it really doesn't matter, as on the next few turns, Mudstale goes down to a couple of Giga Drains. That finishes the final grand trial, and after this, I'm ready to finish the final actual trial of this run by going to fight Totem Komo. This battle goes really smoothly because he's pretty underleveled. Once I do that, I get Solgaleo to bring me to the Ultra Space so I can fight Lusamine. For the most part, this battle's actually not that difficult. Lusamine just spams Pain Split for most of it, and after I defeat her, I'm ready to challenge the Elite Four. To start off my Elite Four journey, I decide I want to battle Kahili. She leads the battle with Skarmory as I lead with Ranch. I start off this battle by setting up 3 consecutive bulk ups. During the time it took me to set up, I get brought down to 60 HP by Skarmory, but it really doesn't matter as I'm able to kill Skarmory in the next few turns with a couple of flame charges. 3 flame charges specifically, and once Skarmory goes down, I'm at +3 speed at this point, so I'm able to outspeed every single one of Kahili's remaining Pokemon. After Kahili gets completely swept, I'm ready for my next Elite Four battle with Hala. For this, I lead with Mayo as he leads with Hariyama. I go for a Beak Blast on the first turn, and I know it's not going to hit because I'm going to get flinched by Fake Out, but it does its job because it burns him. With Hariyama burned, I'm able to cycle through a couple of Pokemon in order to bait out all of the close combat PP. Once all the close combats are gone, I essentially have no way of dying to this thing, so I decide to switch into Incineroar and set up a ton. After 4 bulk ups, I decide to go for a Flame Charge on Hariyama, one-shotting, and with that, next out comes Kerbominable, who I one-shot as well. Primeape gets sent in, but also is one-shotted, and finally comes out Beware. Beware is built like an absolute truck, so in order to kill it, I've got to hit it twice with Brick Break. This means I've got to risk a crit, and thankfully, when I get hit by his Hammer Arm, I don't get crit, so I'm able to finish off Beware. Last out is Poliwrath, who I don't one-shot, and when that happens, I get hit with a submission that brings me down to 34 HP. Thankfully, I'm able to finish off Poliwrath on the next few turns with a couple more Brick Breaks, as that wins me my second Elite Four battle. Now on to Elite Four battle number 3 with Olivia. She leads with Relicanth as I choose to lead with Mayo. Relicanth hits me with an Ancient Power right away, bringing me down to 93 HP, but it doesn't really matter as I'm able to go for a Bullet Seed and finish him off. Once he goes down, Olivia sends in her next Pokemon Lycanroc, and right away I switch out into Alfredo and get hit by a Z move. I expected this, and I assumed that I could be able to one-shot with a Meteor Mash on the next turn, but apparently I can't, and I get brought down pretty low with a Crunch as it brings me down to 63. I don't really know if I can stay in anymore. When Olivia heals, I decide to go for a Bullet Punch that luckily gets a critical hit, but I know I can't stay in for long. With that in mind, I move into Ketchup, who gets hit decently hard on the switch in, and on the next turn gets hit pretty hard as well, but since it doesn't really matter, I'm able to go for a Liquidation, finishing off Lycanroc. Once Nosepass comes in, I move into Jam, and I go for an Earth Power that does a lot of damage, almost one-shotting. Nosepass then hits me with an Earth Power of his own, but it doesn't really matter as on the next turn he goes down to another Earth Power. Carbink is Olivia's second to last Pokemon, and Jam's easily able to finish her off. After this comes Olivia's last Pokemon Golem, who's also finished off by Jam, and with that, that's my third Elite Four battle down. My final battle is with Acerola, and she leads the battle with Sableye as I lead with Ranch. Sableye starts out with a Fake Out, and on the next turn I go for a Darkest Lariat, doing a ton of damage, bringing Sableye into the red as I get hit with a Confuse Ray. Because I know she's just going to heal, I decide to move into Mayo, and I go for a Beak Blast, finishing off Sableye. With that, next out comes Frostlass. For this, I move into Ranch, who avoids a Blizzard on the switch in, and on the next turn I get hit with a Confuse Ray, but thankfully it doesn't really matter as I'm still able to finish off Frostlass. Palossand comes in, and for this, I'm able to switch into Mayo, who isn't affected by most of Palossand's moves. I'm able to go for a Bullet Seed that finishes off Palossand in 2 turns. At this point, Acerola is basically finished, so she sends in Delmise, who gets easily killed by Mayo, and after that she sends in her final Pokemon. Her Drifloon legitimately can't hit Mayo, so I'm able to just finish her off really easily. That means with my final Elite Four member down, I'm able to move on to the champion. Either way, here we go, fighting Kukui. This should be, in theory, the easiest battle to run. It just is. I get a lot of counters to this team. I built my team around him. So, go for a Liquidation right here. Stealth Rock, that's a little bit annoying, but it shouldn't matter. Boom, almost one-shot Lycanroc right there. Lycanroc's gonna heal with a high damage roll. Maybe I kill? No. Either way, another Liquidation kills. It sucks a little bit that I got hit with Stone Edge there, but like I I assume it won't matter. From here, I'll go for a Baneful Bunker. You know, high horsepower. Now Snorlax is poisoned, so I'm going to do more damage, critical hits every single time, just because of my ability. That means I'm just going to go for a Poison Jab here, see how much it does. Not as much as I expected, but not really a big deal. Because now he's going to get poisoned again. I'm going to go for another Baneful Bunker. Hopefully that brings him down, not into the red, so he doesn't heal. I just don't want him to heal here. Yeah, that should be just out of healing range, so there's the liquidation. Finish off Snorlax right there. Pretty easy so far. Magnezone's coming out now. I basically got a perfect counter for Magnezone and Jam. Switch into Jam, and should be pretty easy to defeat Magnezone here. I just go for an Earth Power. Flash Cannon shouldn't... Ooh, that actually did a lot of damage. Kukui, I mean, he's going to heal. So I'm going to go for an... Oh, he doesn't heal? Wow. Ballsy play for him. I didn't think he was going to do that. I thought he was going to heal. Wow. Okay. I'll just switch into Alfredo and go for a Bullet Punch then. I thought for sure he was going to heal. But, I mean, good play on his part. He tricked the crap out of me. I'm not going to lie about that. Alright, Primarina's out now. Primarina's powerful, but I don't think powerful enough to kill me. That shouldn't... I mean, I think this will do a lot of damage. I don't think it'll kill, though. Oh, okay. Okay. Alright. She wanted all the smoke, I guess. Okay. Primarina packing heat right there. I don't even think it matters. I just go for a Bullet Seed here and Primarina's dead. Look at what you did. You did absolutely nothing to stop my team. Congratulations. I just go for a Rock Blast here. I could have been killed by a Blizzard there, but I guess Ninetales didn't want to go for it. Even an Ice Shard. No, not an Ice Shard. But a Blizzard definitely could have killed me. I think I might as well. I think I might end the battle. Oh, I was going to say I might end the battle here, but I guess not. Braviary is going to be put to 1 HP, and I think it's funny that he brought out Ranch because we'd be ending the run the way we started it. Braviary gets hit by just one more Darkest Lariat, and that's game. We could have had the poetic ending. He's just going to be able to kill him. Or, never mind. Apparently I'm faster. Didn't think I'd be faster than Braviary, but either way, that's the end of the run. Let's go, man. It truly is one of the best feelings completing a run like this. I mean, like, this run has just been... To be honest, there's been, like, no downs. We've just been just straight up, and I'm really happy about it. This run has been by far one of my favorites ever. Even better than the shiny run I did last time. This has just been great, man. It really has. Alright, the total time. Wow. 145 hours and 50 minutes. Like I said, really hope you guys enjoyed this run. It was actually really fun to make. And with that being said, that was my attempt at a Pokemon Sun Hardcore Nuzlocke using only shiny Pokemon.